Hi there, this is Bobby from Ragged Poet, and this is a VR to Veronica Rose's end of year tarot tag. Thank you, Veronica Rose, for your tag because I've been really loving the responses that I've seen so far, and I hope people continue to do it. I've been trying to do it for a few days, but it's been kind of a bit crazy in my house one way or another. Oh, actually, I wonder if I better turn that music off because it might be copywritten. It's actually Thomas Tallis, but I'm going to put it on pause if my remote works. There we go. Right, started again. Right, I think I've got it now. Okay, so I'm going to get into these questions. It's Christmas Eve here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, top of the South Island. It's boiling hot. We've been promised rain. It clouded over earlier, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to rain. It really is going to rain. And I looked at the forecast. It said we're going to get rain today and tomorrow and Boxing Day. But now it got all. I washed all my sheets and everything and managed to get them dry, but it got all hotter and sunny again since I brought them in. So maybe I put a curse on it. But we haven't had any rain for months. Literally, we had, I think, 10 minutes about 3 weeks ago, which was horrendous. The humidity afterwards was unbearable, and then like literally 10 minutes of mild rain in probably 2 months. Grass has been dead forever and brown. It's pretty serious drought up and down the country, and it's horrible. Living in a farming country is not good because, you know, all the horrible stuff happens. Animals get sent off to slaughter early because there's no food for them. It's just all yuck. I don't want to think about that. So we won't talk about that now. We'll go into these questions. And question number one, what is your favourite way to celebrate the end of the year, i.e. Christmas, Yule, Lotha, Hanukkah, New Year? Well, it used to be Christmas. I think in the Northern Hemisphere, when you come up to Christmas, because I was brought up in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's a very more of a traditional celebration, I think, over there, especially in Northern Europe, than the rest of the world. The weather and Halloween and bonfire night and everything all build up to Christmas, and it's in your blood, and you really expect it. And I just love it. I actually love the build-up. I love doing the kids' stockings. I just absolutely adored Christmas. I was a real Christmas freak. And then I came here, and it was just so weird. But the first couple of Christmases were okay. With my mum and my sister came over for my second Christmas here in 2006. But since then, I feel like it's really been a non-event. There's been nothing special, nothing going on. The kids have come every Christmas apart from one that I spent in England with my son and my sister, which was awesome. But this year my children aren't coming until January. My son's in England, and I've got my youngest daughter here, which is amazing, but and she is my joy. But yeah, at the moment it doesn't feel Christmassy at all. I've been trying to get into the Christmas spirit, listening to carols, but that's one way I try. I mean, I try and get into the spirit of it all by listening to Christmas music and watching Christmas movies. I've watched one so far. We always used to watch The Grinch on Christmas Eve, my kids and all of us. We loved that movie. But now I think my favourite celebration is probably New Year. I mean, Yule, I always do Yule, but again, because when you're a pagan at the wrong end of the country, it kind of gets quite difficult. And Yule feels like Yule at Christmas time to me, but it's actually not here. It's Letha, so it's wrong. It's crazy. It's midsummer, which is now gone, and we're heading to the dark. And oh my goodness, I am so glad about that. So yeah, I think it's New Year. That's kind of, especially this year when I think the old year has been pretty crappy. So bringing in a new year might be quite a good way to start again. And yeah, you know. So that's question one. Question 2, who your favourite people are to celebrate with? Obviously my family, my children, my mum and my sister if I was with them, but they definitely were my favourite people, and my close friends. Most of my close friends are not with me. My best friend is in England, and my other closest friend lives about 50k or so away. I've got a couple of good friends around here that I sort of see over the holidays, but my children. So this year, my beloved Phoebe, I'll be celebrating with her. But obviously, it's friends and family. I don't think anyone could dispute that one. Share your favourite food at this celebration time of year. Mince pies. I love mince pies. Lots of other people have said the same thing. They're English. I make vegan ones. I've put pictures of them on my Instagram, and I absolutely adore them. When I taste mince pies, that really is a taste of Christmas. But I make them twice a year because I cheat. I make them at Yule in here too, so midwinter Christmas, because that's when it feels kind of Christmas weather, and then I make them again at real Christmas. So I get them twice. But yeah, I love mince pies, and I used to like traditional Christmas cake. We used to make it in September, and then it would come out. I'll cook it in the Arga for overnight, and then it would come out perfectly. And I'll wrap it up in tin foil and put it in a cupboard. It was traditional dark, rich fruit cake. And then every week I would inject it with brandy right up until Christmas. So by the time Christmas came, it was amazing. Oh my God, that was so good, that cake. I don't really like marzipan and icing, but I can bear a little bit because the cake is it's not overly sweet. So it's quite a good texture. It's quite a good combination. The other food I love any time of year, but at Christmas time, but we don't get them at Christmas time here, only at midwinter obviously, is Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. I got these Christmas cards when I was last in England in 2011, and I just absolutely adore them. I think they're amazing. So that's the favourite food thing summed up. Next question, what's your favourite music during this celebration time of year? Okay, well, I like traditional hymns. I love carols. In England, I used to go to church. I loved it. And there's a story a bit later on, but and I'm going to play a little bit of one of my favourite hymns, which is this. That hymn is called Of the Father's Heart Begotten. It's a very, very old hymn, and I love it very much. And you'll find out why in a minute. But I love Thomas Tallis. I love Gregorian chant, and I also love all of the old 70s and early 80s Christmas singles that were out when we were kids, like Wizard and Slade and. So here it is, Merry Christmas, everybody's having fun. And I love Save the World, the Band-Aid song. Do 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 da 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 da. Here's to them underneath their blazing sun. Do they? Oh, here we go. I can't stop singing. And then David Essex did a song which I really love called Winter's Tale. Oh, and it was all snowy. It was only a winter's tale, just another winter's tale. Why should the world take notice of one more love that failed? That's enough of that one. And Dead Cheeky mentioned this song, and I've never heard anyone else mention it ever. But I Believe in Father Christmas by Greg Lake. Oh my God! Do 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 do. Da 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 da. They said there'd be snow at Christmas. They said there'd be peace on earth. But instead it just kept on raining. There were tears for the virgin birth. And I remember one Christmas. And there we go, there we go, there we go. Some of my favourite Christmas music. And you heard Thomas Tallis at the beginning of the video. And that is sung by the Wellington School Chapel Choir, which I believe is somewhere in southern England. Okay, next question is, if decorations involved, what are your favourites? Snow. My favourite decoration for Christmas is snow. We do not get snow in New Zealand. In New Zealand, I guess it's lights, and I love lights and I love trees and bare branches. But so I have I'll show you some. I've got my beautiful fire and ice crystals lit up, and candles all year round are my favourite ever decorations. And then I've got this little bare branch Christmas tree that you can see there with little light baubles on it. There's my little deviant moon witch, just let her in. So yep, it is definitely snow, candles, lights, trees. Oh, and in New Zealand, now I've got to steady this again. Pahutakawa. I love Pahutakawas. I've told you about these before. I have Pahutakawa carp, I've got Pahutakawa bed linen, and I've put lots of pictures of Pahutakawas, which are the NZ Christmas tree, on my Instagram recently and even on my Facebook. So if you follow me there, you'll see what I mean. And they flower in December, but this year they're nearly over because they flowered really early because of the silly weather. So those are my favourite decorations. And I would kind of like a Christmas tree just with loads and loads of Brussels sprouts hanging from it. I think that would be the coolest tree, actually. Question 7. Share a favourite memory of this celebration time of year from 10 or more years ago. Well, I don't even have to think about that one. The best, most amazing, incredible celebration ever was Christmas Day 2000. And my daughter Phoebe, my youngest daughter, who's also my favourite Christmas present, the best Christmas present I've ever had in my life, was born on December the 22nd, also like Diane Juraki's son, and Kaleidoscope Tarot, all good people. And she was over 2.5 weeks late. All my other babies were 3 days early, and they kept threatening to take me to hospital, but I had my babies at home. They were all born at home underwater, and I would not go, and I dug my heels in. And they said if I had to go in on the 23rd if I hadn't had the baby, the day before Christmas Eve. I went for reflexology the night of the 21st, and by 3 o'clock in the morning I was in full-blown labour with my amazing child. And my friend Dilly, my best friend in the UK, we were talking to each other all through the hours. She lived about 130 miles away, but we were talking all through the night, and I was in the bath talking to her, and we kind of shared this birth. And her sons and that were older than my kids, and they would come in, and her husband Keith, and say, "Oh, how's Bobby doing? Is the baby there? Is the baby there?" It was really amazing, and it was like we shared this birth between us across all the miles, and we were so close. So we called it our baby. And Phoebe was baptised on Christmas Day. The church was 1,300 years old, and she was the youngest baby ever baptised in it, and the only baby ever baptised on Christmas Day. And it was an incredible service. And I went to midnight mass to give thanks. My sister and my mum came down, and they looked after Phoebe while I went for an hour to midnight mass on Christmas Eve that night. and we sang that song that I played earlier, Evermore. And because there's a line in it, we were processing, it was a candlelit procession, and you walk around the church, and that was the processional hymn. And there's a line that goes, "Oh, how blessed this wondrous birthday." And it had such huge double meaning for me that day. There is a story behind this as well, because a year before I had a miscarriage, very late in pregnancy, and it was devastating. And then I wasn't allowed to get pregnant, and I got pregnant with Phoebe at Easter, and I knew the baby would be born at Christmas. And I felt this huge guilt, because I thought I'd always wanted a Christmas baby, and I felt if I didn't have wished that, then I wouldn't have had the miscarriage. And I had to deal with all that quite late in Phoebe's pregnancy. But I wanted this double Thanksgiving, so I said to Father Chris, my priest at the time, I asked him if everything went okay, as a real thanks thing, would Phoebe be allowed to be baptised on Christmas Day? And he said, well, because of the circumstances, we'll approach the bishop. So we did. We both went to see the bishop, and the bishop agreed. And that's how she came to be baptised on Christmas Day, and why that song was so special. I mean, not only it was the Christ child, but also this was a wondrous birthday indeed. And I'm almost in tears talking about it, but that's the best. What better present could you have, eh? So that's my best ever Christmas memory. And it also, because she was due on the 6th, everything was done ready for when Phoebe came. So it was the most least stress-free Christmas ever. Everything was done. There was no rushing around. The house was all good and awesome, and everything was bought, and every present was wrapped, and it was just amazing. It was just amazing. And of course she was born at home, and what a present for the whole family. So yeah. Now, question 8. How do tarot or oracles fit into the celebration this time of year? Well, I mean, I've always done year ahead spreads. I've always used tarot, and I guess I usually get a tarot or oracle deck for Christmas, even if I buy it myself. A couple of years ago, my children got me the Arthur Rackham Oracle from Duck Soup, which was amazing. And last year I ordered the Slow Hollow Tarot for my daughter Tabby, who's also into tarot, and myself. And this year I've ordered the Numinous Tarot on Kickstarter. And again, that's kind of similar to the Slow. It won't be ready until about February, but I'm really looking forward to that one. And my Christmas tarot deck, which, I got the Green Witch from my kids for Christmas 3 years ago. Or no, 2 years ago, sorry. I think it was the year I graduated, yeah. And for me, this is my Christmas deck. I absolutely love it. Look at those backs. How can you get more Christmassy than that? I just love this tarot deck. So I've just bought it out again for Christmas. And today, as a Christmas present for it, I made it this bag because I love holly. And I have this holly fabric that I had years ago. And I made this bag because I think it goes perfect with the Green Witch. But I found a little bit of the fabric left. And today I made it this really lush little velvet. Look at that velvet. You can see it in the light. Tarot cloth. So it's got two sides to it. And it's yum yum. So that's my my Green Witch present. So yeah, it fits. It fits. I mean, it's part of my life. It's part of my everyday life, like my children. So it just fits in. It just slots in naturally. Okay, draw 2 tarot or oracle cards. 1 to show your conscious feelings about this celebration or time of year, and card 2 to show your underlying or hidden feelings about this celebration or time of year. Okie dokie. Right, come on then, Green Witch. This deck is pretty amazing. I mean, it gave me lots of... the year before last, I got a lot of readings from it that all came... Yeah, no, last year, sorry. We're still in 2017, 2016. I got a lot of readings with this deck that all actually came to light. So, I've got a Faller. So I should get that one out. And it's the World Tree. Okay, so that would be number 1. My conscious feelings about the celebration time of year, and that's right, it means the world to me because it's all about family for me, and that means the world to me too. And also it is a kind of completion. It's like coming to the end of a year, the close of a chapter. I know a lot of pagans celebrate Samhain, and I do too, but not so much now over here. Now, like, the traditional New Year has become more my New Year because Samhain's at the wrong end. Oh, it's just all confusing over here. But the world tree is it's pretty like almost like the Wheel of Fortune. It's cyclical. You come to the end of the chapter, ready to begin again. So it's actually the perfect card. And what's that? Is that like a stalk? I think that's a stalk on there. I haven't used this deck for a while because it's my, well, I used it all year the first year I had it, and we've got the Viper or the Serpent. So it's got everything about the all of the stuff going on in the world. So that's pretty. The Serpent is actually also quite relevant because there's always these underlying regrets and things at the end of the year. All these things that are there, like there's always some kind of sorrow. Where there's dark, there's got to be light, and where there's sadness, there's got to be sorrow. There's no comparison. So, I mean, when there's happy, there's got to be sorrow. Underlying, so there's always this, you know, the temptation, the sorrow, the other side of it. But that's what the world is about, actually. I think both sides, the coming together of everything, the alpha and omega. So yeah, it is pretty appropriate. And now I've got to draw another card for the subconscious. Sorry for that kind of ramble. Right, now this one, because it's a subconscious, I'm going to take it from the bottom half of the deck. I've got the Nine of Swords. Yep, again. It's the grief of the past, of losing the past, and it reminds me very much of the guilt I felt when I very first came to this country. You can't see those cards. I'm going to move this back a bit so you can see them. I try to be joy in the season, but there's always this guilt and this grief underlying it because I'm not with my family. Well, I'm not with my mum and my sister. I am with my children, obviously here, but not with my mum and my sister and my family in England. And as I said before, I kind of feel guilt that I broke our family up. So the Nine of Swords is, to me, the lying awake at night card, thinking, you know, this is what, there's no getting out of this, there's now getting over it. It's a 3 o'clock in the morning card when you can't go to sleep. Because you're thinking too much of all the terrible things you've done wrong in your life. And no matter how positively we feel about life and that, we don't escape these feelings. These are the feelings that make us human. Without these feelings, then we wouldn't be human. If we didn't feel guilt, then we'd be sociopaths. If we didn't feel grief and we didn't feel sorry, we'd be sociopaths. So we have to experience these things. So I think the Dark Night of the Soul card is, again, absolutely spot on, but I wouldn't expect anything less from this Greenwich Tarot. So there's one more thing I want to show you, which I did show at the beginning of the year, I think, but I'm mainly, this is for anyone in the Southern Hemisphere. There's not very much, all the Llewellyn calendars and things are all very much Northern Hemisphere based, and apparently the timing's all going to be put into American time now, but hopefully they'll have conversions. But there's very little for the Southern Hemisphere. But here in New Zealand, we have a group of free ladies, and they're called the Creative Cronies. And every year they bring out an astrological diary with a theme for all the artwork and everything, and a calendar. This is December's page for the calendar. It has all of the moon stuff in it, and the diary's the same, and amazing artwork by local artists. The Healing Dimension was the thing of this year, and every year I get the calendar and the diary. Like I said, I have spoken about it before. This year's is going to be here soon, and this year's theme is divination. So I'm super excited about that, and I will share it with you, of course, when it comes. But I do love these, and again, it's amazing artwork, and it's locally made, and it's all done with eco ink and everything, and it's just a really amazing kind of calendar and diary. So that's my treat to myself. Oh, sometimes I get it as a Christmas present, but this year I'm treating myself to it. So my daughters. So yeah, that's something else I wanted to show you. So now I'd like to wish you all a very wonderful holiday season. Whatever you do, and if you go to midnight mass, any of you, which I would love to do, but it's just not the same here, will you please think of me, because I really miss it. Okay, lots of love to everyone. Bye.